Hi, everybody. So it is really a pleasure to be here. And thank you very much. Thanks, Moodle, for the invitation. And well, first of all, I really want to welcome you in Barcelona, the whole Moodle company and all the team. And say that we are extremely happy to have you here and extremely happy that you choose Barcelona to make sure that your company can grow here in Spain and you can serve your users better. And thank you, Martin, for the invitation, but for being here in the first place. And just say that we actually welcome, in particular, because of your big challenge that you have, which is about the future of learning and the future of education. And we are extremely convinced in the city of Barcelona that this is absolutely the future of this digital revolution. We always say a very non-ambitious motto, which is if you have the digital revolution, you have to couple it with the democratic revolution, meaning that technology and awareness and learning and the capacity to use technology for the better of society has to be equally spread throughout. And we cannot achieve this objective without education and learning. So I really believe personally, but I think everybody here shared the same conviction that the future of digital skills and digital learning for society at large is one of the big challenges that we're facing. So also for that in particular, and for the thing that Martin created, Moodle, thinking about communities and open source, which is very aligned with the value that we promote here when we think about technology policy. In particular, for all these reasons, we are extremely happy that you choose Barcelona, and hopefully we're gonna work together in the future. So I thought that I was going to use this time also to introduce and share what we are doing in the city of Barcelona as part of the digital and technology plan. So as it is clear, I'm not Catalan, I'm Italian. I used to work in the UK at Nesta, the Digital Innovation Foundation, before I was nominated by Ada Colau to come here. And they created a new role, which is the Commissioner for Digital and Technology in the city of Barcelona. And I'm in charge of creating and implementing the Digital City Plan of Barcelona. And this is a comprehensive plan, so I work throughout all the city hall with different departments, aligning all the different departments and agencies of the City Hall, and of course working with the innovation ecosystem in the city to make sure that we can have a more equitable, participatory and digital city that can serve everybody. And this is a little bit our plan. Is three main axes. One is digital transformation, where we're introducing digital technologies to make government more open, more transparent, and more collaborative. We have a big plan, the work that we do about data and data ethics and the new data strategy, and I will tell you a little bit about that. Then we work on digital innovation, which is about creating the digital economy, fostering the tech sector in Barcelona. I have to say, it is the fast-growing sector that we have here. Barcelona, it is becoming a really digital hub with startups, with SMEs, with big companies, but also social enterprises and new forms of companies that are reinventing models about sustainability, the circular economy, and so on. So we're working a lot with that. And then finally, but at the core of everything we do, digital empowerment, which is about digital democracy, digital skills, and working with citizens to get them really part of this transformation. This is our mayor, Ada Colau. She's been defined by The Guardian one of the most radical mayors in the world, and this is because she comes from the bottom up, from the grassroots. She used to be a citizen activist and fighting for the right to the city, and now that she's in government, she's really trying to bring at the core of everything we do citizen participation and citizen engagement. So actually, our vision for a smart city, which is being completely redefined by this new government, my brief when I was called to be here to become the digital commissioner was, let's rethink technology that can serve the people. So let's rethink the smart city from the ground up, putting users and citizens at the very center, not starting with technology, which has been one of the mainstream approaches of the smart city, starting first with technology, connectivity, and data, and only after asking, why do we need a smart city at all? What kind of problems we are trying to solve, and what are the needs of the citizens? So in this government, in this mandate now, we are starting from the big policies that we have: affordable housing, healthcare, sustainable mobility, energy transition, creating more public space in the city, and also, of course, air quality, education, the future of jobs. And only after we're asking what kind of technology can help us to make these problems better, and how do we start from the citizen needs. So that's why we are at the very DNA of this digital transformation. There is collective intelligence and the collective intelligence of people. Barcelona is running a large-scale participatory democracy experiment. We are involving citizens in all the policies that we do. At the moment, we run 11 participatory processes in parallel. And you need to know that our government plan, so our action plan, 70% of the policies that we run in government today were coming directly from citizens. And this is a hybrid mix of online tools and offline participation in squares, in the district, in the city, and then is also a hybrid between forms of direct democracy, including directly the participation of citizens, citizen initiative, participatory budgeting, and of course representative democracy. And this is a new experience that I think is changing the way the relationship between governments and citizens, which is at the core of what we're trying to do. And these are some of the numbers for us. Decidi in Barcelona, which is our free and open source software platform, by the way, which is built with the community of developers together and with citizens themselves, is the main channel that we use to engage citizens and make them part of the government and what we do. At the end of the day, we want to create a more equitable, democratic, smart city. Let me tell you a little bit how we are transforming government. So I'm convinced you cannot have a digital city, a smart city, if you don't start from the public administration and start from wanting to change government. And of course, technology is a big part of that. So I don't know if you know that, in the European Union, and Spain has adopted this, and of course also Catalonia and Barcelona, all public administration have to be digital in 2022. Everything has to be digital. Of course, this is something very, very hard for governments that do everything in paper. It's a hard bureaucracy, and it's not a technology problem. It's an organizational problem, it's a cultural shift, and so we are implementing an agile and open source digital transformation process, which has been involving lots of city officials, public workers, in try to understand this new way of working. And we have created ethical digital standards to make cities digital, and we touch upon many important subjects. First of all, the city of Barcelona is transitioning in using free and open source software. So we are part of a Free Software Foundation campaign that is about public money and public code. We really believe that investing in free and open source products can help us creating communities and also sharing and reusing the technology and the investment that we make in government. We are starting an open source migration, which is pretty ambitious. Of course, we go progressively in implementing this. One of the main reasons to do that, of course, the ethics and behind the free and open source communities, but also we want to get rid of vendor lock-in, which is a very big problem for government, and we want to be able to be interoperable with everything that we use, and then to control the knowledge and the information, which is the key capabilities that we have in government. And so at the moment we are running a pilot, we are moving our operating system, we are changing our email server into open source, and we are investing 70% of technology budget into free software. And this is, of course, again, a big transformation, so we're working with our public officials to create capabilities internally and making sure that we manage the transition. And for this, we will also need your help, of course, to make this working. Yeah, open technology, it's not only about the software, but it's also about the architectures, the interfaces, the formats, interoperability at the higher level. We're also introducing agile service delivery, and this is a big thing in government because the way that they design services doesn't start from the user's needs and the citizen needs. So we are introducing agile methodology in the development of the software, but also in the development of the service, creating multifunctional teams. And we have now a team that's called Agile Transformation inside the city public technology company, which is around 300 people. We are also working a lot on introducing ethical data strategy because, as we know, data is the core of the digital economy today, in particular for platforms. But we want to make the most out of data while at the same time preserving citizen digital rights and their data sovereignty. So we want to make sure that citizens can have as much as possible the control over the information and data, but at the same time data can be used as a public infrastructure on top of which we can create new services and better services and better decisions for the citizens. And of course, we also moving into thinking about transparency of algorithms, accountability, and ethics of AI, which is a topic that's really important in automated decision making that we take in government. To make everything possible, we need to change procurement. Sorry about this unsexy word, which is the core of what we do in government, basically spending citizen money to make a better return, more public value, and better public services. So in order to implement this plan, we had to change procurement. So now all the open standards, free software, data sovereignty clauses, they're clauses that we insert in the way we do contracts in the city administration. If we are procuring any kind of services, we try to mandate for this new technological approach that brings data sovereignty and technological sovereignty to citizens. And we are, of course, coupling that with some change management and learning. We're doing a lot of teachings for our public administration, and maybe this is also an area where we could collaborate in the future. So we have codified all this approach in an ethical digital standards, which is a toolkit for cities. And at the moment, we are sharing this. It's in ASCII doc. I mean, actually, probably migrating out of GitHub, but at the moment it's there, where we are basically putting all this information, and cities are coming together to share this approach together with Barcelona. Now we are working with New York, with Berlin, with Amsterdam, in order to have a kind of shared code of practice that we can implement as a digital strategy for cities, which has citizen at the center and the creation of maximizing public value. We're also open sourcing the smart city, and this is something very interesting about Barcelona, is that we've been deploying like IoT and sensor infrastructure throughout the city. The city of Barcelona owns the fiber. We have 300 kilometers of fiber that we own. And the Centillo is a platform that's built on open standards, so you can reuse it, you can take it up, you can try it. And we're using it for energy monitoring, noise monitoring, water metering, garbage collection, parking, and so a lot of these services are happening also through this infrastructure that we have, and this helps us to make the city more efficient. And then, of course, we have our own data lake where all the information is integrated with privacy and security by design, which is something that is really important for us. We believe that data can be a new public utility, a public infrastructure, and the data commons. So the data should belong to the citizens of Barcelona with clear rules. On top of that, new companies that have the knowledge and the capacity to build new applications can access this data. And we are publishing all our data in open data through our portal, so you can have a look. I mean, we are now really working on making the data clean and you know, the source of data really good, so that you can then build application on top. We are using all this open data and open tech to make government not corrupted, so really transparency also is very important. We are publishing all the budget and how we spend our money in open data, so that data scientists and journalists can look at the data and use it. And we're also doing something pretty pioneer, which is an encrypted infrastructure based on Tor for whistleblowers. This is integrated in the city infrastructure. So everybody, city officials, citizens can denounce cases of corruption, and the city should act on that. And we also have a committee against corruption, which is part of the city hall. Well, we have created a new office for data analytics. We have new profile of people working on machine learning and AI, which are now joining the administration. And of course, we are partnering with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center and other fantastic academia here and research centers that have capacity and can help us. We have also a very cool project that actually I want to present very briefly. It's called Decode, and this is a decentralized data infrastructure. It's based on distributed ledger with cryptography on top to give control over data and granular control over data to the citizens. So they can have entitlement over data. They can decide what data they want to keep private, what data they want to share, with whom and on what terms. So this is what we really call data sovereignty and giving back control over data to citizens. This is a pilot project, one of the flagship projects from the European Commission. We're working together with the City of Amsterdam, many cryptographers around Europe to implement this. We want this kind of infrastructure to become the future of how we deal with data in cities. And this is our vision of a Barcelona data commons. So I'm almost at the end. I want to say that we are very aware that at the core of this digital transformation, there is the question of education, rethinking skills, rethinking the future of education, and also the future of work in an age of automation, which is going to be very different. So Barcelona is pioneering some of the methods around STEAM. Every year we run a STEAM conference, which combines science, technology, maths with the arts and humanities. And we also have 4 public Fab Labs, which is public maker spaces where kids can come in and learn these new skills, and we are integrating them in the curricula of the schools. So we're working with the Consorcio de Educación de Barcelona to make sure that schools more and more can learn this kind of new methods and become producer of technology and not just consumers. And finally, just want to mention, of course, our mayor, she's a feminist. I mean, we're running an organization where women's rights and giving visibility to women is really at the core of everything we do. And also in technology, we need to do more to put the women, to give visibility, to empower women very earlier on in education, in particular STEAM education, and then also in research and in the working place. So I'm sure that also on that we can work together to make sure that women are more empowered and more at the core of this digital revolution. And finally, really also for you are in the right place because Barcelona is a digital innovation hub. There are so many interesting companies and research centers, the public administration, cooperatives, makers. It's really an ecosystem that's vibrant in technology and innovation, and we have a system thinking. So we're making sure that really we can grow as a city that can think about technology for the common good and to improve the life of citizens. And the last word is that we're also launching a city ecosystem. We're trying to empower the city ecosystem around free and open source software. And we're going to have a convention in October during our Open City Biennale, which is going to be targeted on free and open source software in cities and beyond. And so, of course, we'd like to invite you to be part of that and to help us to build a stronger platform for FLOSS to grow in Barcelona. And thank you very much. We cannot have a digital city without starting from the ground up involving citizens. Thank you.